And to get more perspectives on this particular issue, I am now joined by two gentlemen, and that is Dr. John Musingi, who is a senior lecturer at the University of Nairobi, as well as Sydney Kuntai, who I would say he's an activist and he's passionate about the environment. And let me just start off with Mr. Sydney. Looking at this environmental impact assessment, we are seeing a number of towns will be affected. And of course, part of the SGR will be cutting through the national park. What do you make of this?
Well, I think we have had a look at the report, and there are quite a number of challenges. But specifically to the issue of how this will affect the economies of the towns along, it is pretty obvious that for a very long time this country has relied on road transport, and some of these towns actually grew out of that. The freight from Mombasa all the way to the border, then across to Uganda, the Great Lakes. Mm-hmm. Some of these towns actually started because of that and are dependent on this transport business. Mm-hmm. Very near here you have Kitengela, you have Chumbi, which is Junction, all the way to Emali, to Sultan Hamoud. All those towns have depended for a very long time on this. And further, we have Memahio, mm-hmm. all the way to Naivasha. We see that it is going to affect the economies because they are dependent on that kind of business, which is a big business for them.
All right. Yeah. And Dr. John Musingi, mm-hmm. What's your assessment of this environmental impact assessment report?
Basically it's both environment and social issues. First of all, I would like to reinforce what you have said before I can discuss further. I think you realize the railway line, and specifically SGR, the way they have done it is fenced on the sides. Mm-hmm. I think the whole idea is to enhance security. So
aside from security, what are the key issues that you feel concerned about?
I'm concerned because, first of all, you see, there will be difficulties in crossing the railway line. And you realize, a lot of people cross those areas to go to markets. Now they have to reroute some of these movements. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So essentially, you can see basically a lot of things will need to be, changed. And others may even just completely, vanish or die. So essentially, I think if you look at it in terms of movement, and I think business is based on also activities.
That's true.
Yeah, I think that is going to affect, that problem. There will be that problem. Now, you're talking about the impact. I think we have been talking about the impact of the railway line phase 2 on its way to Naivasha. Yeah. We see, first of all, we are complaining that the way it is planned now, it will pass through the park. We are saying that is not the best option because the park is also, I understand it brings a lot of money to the economy. Indeed, the Nairobi National Park is the park which brings most of the money. There's a lot of visitors. If you go there every day, you find cars parked full.
The president is on record saying that the railway will not affect the ecosystem in the park. I don't know. What's your view on this?
Yeah. The president wasn't. I think. I don't think he was well briefed that the view from people who are scientists in this field think that it will affect the park.
All right.
Yeah, so I don't think the president was well briefed on this.
All right.
And we hope he will really change that once he gets the right briefing.
Interesting.
Sure.
And gentlemen, of course, this issue is a hot issue that we'll continue having conversations on. And many thanks for making time to come. We were speaking there to Sydney Kuntai, who is an activist and matters to do with the environment, and to the extreme left he had Dr. John Musingi, who is a senior lecturer at the University of Nairobi, just giving their perspectives around the issue of the standard gauge railway, which is expected to be completed by March next